Hey guys, I've got a 2017 Ram, and I noticed that when I drive, I hear a buzz from the driver's side rear door. Not in the B-pillar up here, but somewhere here. So I can kind of reach back with my hand and touch it, and it stops. So we're going to pull this door panel off and see if we can figure out what it is. I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, it's a 2017, it's probably under warranty, why don't you take it to the dealer? I could do that, but I can control how carefully things are done better if I'm the one that's doing it, and I'm sure a lot of you would agree with me. So the first step with this is, just because a lot of newer vehicles have airbags all over the place, I don't know if this vehicle has one or not, but in case it has an airbag in that door panel or in that B-pillar, I disconnected and isolated the negative battery terminal. I'll leave that off for a couple minutes just through a towel on there. It's a 10mm socket. I'm just gonna let the truck sit for a little bit so any residual charge is drained off, and then we'll try to get the door panel off. Okay, so the door panel is secured on with these little doodads there. I think they're around the circumference. I vaguely remember there being a fastener back here. It's been a while since I've taken one of these apart. This piece has to, trim piece has to come off here, and to get these little Allen bolts out, they're not really bolts, but just little plastic fasteners. I'm using a 7/64 Allen key and just sticking a fingernail behind them, and they just pop out like that. So they unscrew slightly. Sometimes you have to put some backward pressure on them. Like I said, with a fingernail, like that. Just rotate, and they just pop out. Just do that all the way around the door. As I take my foot out of my mouth, you'll notice that they're not Allen screws, they're Torx. They are T20s to be exact, so disregard what I said a little bit earlier about these being Allen screws. I'm going to use a T20 Torx. Wow, it's kind of embarrassing. Should I edit that out? Nah. You guys can see my blunders. Wow, that works a lot easier when you have the right tool. Imagine that. There's one down here. Middle of the door. Just kind of unscrew. Okay, so we have all those off. Now we're gonna use a trim stick to get this piece off. I have an OTC trim kit here. It's a OTC 6642. These are super cheap. You can get them on eBay or Craigslist or wherever. This just pops off up here. Just like that. And falls to the ground. The reason why you need that to come off is because this whole door panel is going to lift up and this tab would catch on that. So now we need to get this piece off. Alright, so this is what that panel looks like. So you can see there's a clip on the bottom. It kind of goes in the bottom like that and snaps in here and here. So what I found is I stuck a screwdriver in this corner, or trim stick rather, and just kind of gently pried, and then it popped down like that. And there's a big Phillips head screw back there, you can see. And I marred up this panel a tiny little bit, but what can you do? You can't win them all, right? Let's get that Phillips head screw out. Oh, and I forgot to mention you have to take these things out too. These little plastic inserts that those little plastic screws go into. They just pull out with a fingernail once you take that center portion out. Always miss a step, right? Why do once what you can do multiple times? And the door panel should be pretty loose at that point. And to remove it, you just want to lift up and out. But for some reason, it is not loose and coming up and out. Did I miss a fastener somewhere? Let's look at the bottom. Ugh. Might just be those metallic snaps. I don't want to pry too hard in case I miss something. And all the prying I'm doing is with this plastic trim stick, so I'm not going to damage anything with one of those. need a light. Ugh. Okay, I think I got it all figured out. It was loose, I had to lift up a tiny bit for it to pop out. This little trim piece just falls out. The door panel should lift up and off, just like that. And you have a wiring harness here you'll have to disconnect. This controls everything on the door, which is just the window switch. I don't know who designed that one, but that's a pretty big train wreck. Looks like the window switch itself has to come out to disconnect the harness, and there's some metal tabs here. Wow, that's annoying. There we go. So now the door panel should be free. And it is. So now let's figure out if we can see what that rattling was. Do we see any obvious problems with the inner door panel? Aside from some missing paint here. That's lovely. I don't see any paint here. Strange. Actually seems a little bit different than my 2015 that I had. Now my 2015, there was a great big crack on the inner door panel on the regulator that was causing a rattling sound. Nothing's ever as easy as it should be, huh? Alright, I'm going to give this a little closer inspection. I don't see any cracks or any obvious broken parts, but I do see, notice there's felt tape here, 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 here. But there's no felt tape here, 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 here. I wonder if that's the problem. Maybe just that clip is just kind of buzzing inside the panel very slightly. Seems to happen when the sound is, or I guess when the radio is on or off. It really seems to matter most the speed and the resonance of the vehicle. Like if it's the MDS kicks in, for example, that's when I hear it. I wonder if that would fix it. Just a little bit of tape on these joints here. Let me get the door panel and see if all those are used. It's possible not all those are in use, but it seems silly and wasteful to mold a clip in place that's not being used, unless this inner door panel is used by multiple vehicles, which I doubt. Just maneuvering the panel back into place. It's a little big. The garage is a little small. That's what she said. Okay, so let's take a peek. So you can see, hopefully you can see. Yeah, it looks like all those are used, which is not too surprising. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to coat those with some tape and see if that fixes the problem. Found some of this foam tape. It's about 1,000 years old, but it's still very sticky. And I just put those everywhere where you see white tape. Here, 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 here. I thought about putting them here, but I don't know, I'm a little torn. Not sure if I want to do that. Maybe I will, just a little bit. Just that tape is kind of thick, and if there's any clearance issues, I don't want to create any issues here. Let's try. All right, let's see if we get the door panel back on. I left the factory felt tape in place. I wish I had some of this, but I don't, so I'm just working with what I got. Let's put the door panel back on. And again, you push it against the door and it just slides into here. I also took the switch for the window motor out. It might be easier to reinstall after the panel's in place. Okay, the door panel fit back on with no problem. I don't know if that's going to fix the issue or not, but I guess it's worth a try, right? A little bit of tape never hurt anything. This truck has had a couple of rattles that I fixed with tape. I think it was that tape, or maybe it was electrical tape. That console between the up there between the two front seats had a similar buzz. Maybe they just ran out of the tape on the assembly line. All right, I'm gonna put the window motor switch back in. I didn't see any airbags in here, so this may have been safe to do with the battery connected. That just snaps in place like that. It should just drop in place right there, just like so. Similarly, this should snap back into place too. But gotta do that. Let's see what we got. Does that just snap back in? Yeah, seems to. No biggie. Don't forget to put all the fasteners back in. They're kind of important. All right, I won't bore you guys with this. Okay, got the door panel reinstalled. Super easy to put it back in, obviously. I'm leaving this piece out just because in case it needs to come out again, maybe that didn't fix the problem. Just don't want it to, this is the hardest piece to get out right here. Let's put this piece of trim back on while I'm thinking of it. But yeah, don't know if this will solve the problem yet, but I'm going to take it for a ride, and actually probably going to ride it around for about a week or so because it doesn't always happen. It seems to happen in certain conditions and not others. So I'm going to ride it around, and hopefully that fixes it. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.